May welcome tonight. This is really a very special moment for us to have these special guests here with us in Detroit, and especially here tonight at Temple Israel, to speak about their families and the experience of how it's felt to have your parents and family taken, and to have them come home, at least partially. So as we all know, Hanukkah is our season of miracles, and more than anything, we are praying for a miracle this year to bring them home. And we are honored to have members of two families that have traveled to Detroit for a few days. You've had a really busy few days. You were at the Pistons game, you were at the Menorah and the D, and tonight you're here at Temple Israel, and then they're flying off to New York where they start all over again when they get to New York. And I believe they're being interviewed by CBS, so watch CBS on Monday, tomorrow, and you'll see them on TV. So we are so honored to welcome Ella Ben-Ami and Yair and Ezra Moses. And I want to tell you just a little bit about them, but we don't have a lot of time. Services start at 6:30. So Yair Moses was born and raised on kibbutz near Oz, and he left the kibbutz in his late 20s. He currently works as a computer specialist at Teva Pharmaceuticals. Yair is married with 3 children. One of them is Eris, who's 16 years old and is here with him tonight. Yair's mother, Margalit, was kidnapped and released from Gaza on November 24th. Yair's father, Gadi, was abducted along with his partner, and she was murdered on the way to Gaza. Efrat Katz, who is Margalit's daughter. Efrat is his father's partner, and her daughter. Efrat was also, it's confusing. There's so many family members. And her daughter and granddaughters were also taken, and they were released recently. So Ella, she grew up on kibbutz Be'eri. She's one of 3 daughters who saw her parents being taken as hostages to Gaza by Hamas. Ella was also one of the first voices the world heard about the terrible events which took place on October 7th. She called the local news telling them how she saw her father, Ohad, being led away by terrorists. After hours of hiding in her home, Ella led the rescue forces, even under the continued brutal attacks, to rescue other family members and members of the kibbutz. Ella's mother, Raz, who was kidnapped, is now safely back in Israel. She was released, and her father, Ohad, is still being held in Gaza. Tonight, they are going to be lighting the Chanukiah and the Shabbat candles, and we pray that the light of the Chanukiah and Shabbat candles will guide your families home. So we invite you to come forward now. The plan is for them to speak for a little bit. If we have time, we'll take a few questions, but remember, services are starting soon, so we just have a limited amount of time, and we just want to hear from you, how you're feeling and what this experience has been for you.
Okay, so I'm Ella. I'm 23. Like Mara said, I'm from Kibbutz Be'eri. I was born and raised there. Kibbutz Be'eri is 4 kilometers from Gaza, for the one who don't know. In this picture is my dad. And I'm here today just to bring up the awareness of the hostages and to explain how as a families we are waiting for them every day. We are not breathing, we are not living, we are not eating, we are not sleeping until they will be here. And we came all across the world to meet you and to tell you about them. So my dad is a very serious man and a very handsome man. You can see, the one who don't see. And on this Hanukkah, that is a holiday of miracles, it's a holiday of light, it's a holiday of family, it's a warm holiday with all the fire. And we hope for a miracle that my dad will come back. And my wish is that until the 8th day of Hanukkah, of the Chanukiah, he will light a candle in our Chanukiah. So this is the reason I'm here, and it's nice to get all this love and all this warmth and all this support from all of you. So thank you for inviting us.
Hi, my name is Yair. My father, Gadi Moses, also handsome. uh, so like she said before, both of my parents were taken. They're not living together, but each one was taken from his home, and we didn't know nothing about them. It was very, very hard time until we saw my mother only on Monday and my father only on Tuesday. We saw some evidence that they were taken. And on the first days, we literally couldn't do anything. Breathe, eat, sleep, nothing. And we just took some food in order to have the power to exist. That's it. You fell asleep. When you fell asleep, you don't go to sleep. You just collapse and fall asleep. And the moment you wake up, you are, again, your mind is running 100% and you cannot go back to sleep. And being here is meaningful a lot for us because the support we got all these 3 days in Detroit and all the time is amazing. And this is what gives us the power to continue our struggle to have them back home. And you know, we look like strong people, and maybe we are, but sometimes the strength is finished. And being here and allowing us to tell our story is meaning a lot for us. And we're very thankful for this, because this gives us the power to continue the struggle to have them back home, because we must have them back home. We cannot allow them not to be back. That's it. We miss them a lot, and of course we want the miracle. And I said, Hanukkah miracle, for me it can be Christmas miracle, it can be any other miracle. We want a miracle for them to be back as soon as possible. And this is what we need. The light, my name is Yair. Yair we'll do light in Hebrew. And I hope the light we bring, and the light everyone is giving us, will bring the light to remove the darkness, and we'll have them back home. Thank you.
So I know everybody has questions for you. One question that was asked of me earlier was, how has it been for your mothers since they've come home? Have they told you about their experience? Are they keeping it to themselves? How has that been?
My mother she's 77 years old. She's not a very healthy woman. She needs her medicines. She needs her CPAP device in order to sleep. And it was very hard for her. She was all the time in the tunnels underground, no air, barely food, barely medicine, some very, very little amount of medicine she got in the beginning. And it was very hard for her. But she managed to survive with the believing that she will be released and something will happen. And what she did is try to be vital as much as possible and help the others that were with her, even if just getting up or singing a song with them or playing games, word games or things like this, just to feel vital and feel alive. And when she came back after a few days in the hospital, she's getting better now and she's getting stronger. She's getting to sleep like a teenager. We need to wake up at 11 when there is a doctor appointment or something, because she sleeps a lot now because she couldn't sleep without the device. They told her, sit on the chair and put your head back, and this is how you're going to sleep for 50 days. Yes, but now she's thankfully getting better. She has color in the cheeks. She's not all white, and she's sharing with us. We don't say too much about what happened because it might jeopardize the people that are still there if you tell the details. But she does tell us from what happened to her there.
So my mom, she came back frightened. She's very scared to talk with us or to talk. And she's very, from the physical situation, I can tell you that she's very thin. So it tells that she's not eating a lot over there. And if before, like normal people, we would eat and throw the leftover to the garbage. Now we can't throw leftovers. She doesn't let us. When she sees a bottle of water, she's very excited. So it does mean something of what she's been through there. And the first question that she asked when she came back is, where is Dad? So I'm here now. It was very hard to leave her because she needs me, but she pushed me out of the door and tell me, go bring Dad, go tell Dad over there to the world. So I'm here. And my mom have a medical situation, a medical complicated situation. So when she came back, the situation went worse. So I guess there wasn't medical treatment over there. But she's strong and she's smiling and she's hugging and she loves us. And she doesn't believe we are alive. So when she came out and saw our faces, she was in shock. She said that she think we are dead, all the girls. So when she saw us, it was the biggest relief that she ever felt. And the hugs were amazing and huge and very strong hugs. And I never took anything for granted since then. Her hand, her hug, her kisses, it's amazing.
Thank you. I think we have time for a few questions if somebody would like to offer.
Yeah, so my answer will be quick because she doesn't tell me, but maybe, yeah, you.
My mother, we know she was underground all the time in a tunnel. We know more or less where, but we are not telling it. It's, like I said, it's security of the people over there, because if we share it, they might move them or whatever has happened. So we don't share it. But yeah, they know more or less where, and my mother was, we know for others, somewhere in houses, somewhere moved from time to time. My mother was all the time underground, all these 50 days that she was there. I'm not living in Rose anymore. I was born and raised there, but I'm living in another city. So we heard the sirens where I live. We went to the safe room, and after some time we talked to them. They told us, yeah, everything's okay. Unfortunately, they used to this situation. We're in the safe room waiting for everything to be relaxed. And slowly we started to hear rumors about that there are terrorists inside the kibbutz, and then we lost connection with them and didn't know what happened. My sister is living in the kibbutz, and she was there all the time. She managed to see a text message from my father's life partner that they said they took Gadi, and it was very, very hard for her because she was also locked in her safe room. She couldn't get out. Lucky for us, they couldn't break into their house, and for some reason decided to leave it, not to bomb it or burn it or whatever happened there, and she survived. But after many, many hours, she was released. That's it.
So I was in the kibbutz in Be'eri. I was in my apartment. My parents have another home that are closer to the fence. So the terrorists came inside the neighborhood first, inside the neighborhood of my parents. And I heard all the gunshot, and I heard everything from my bedroom, that is the safe room. And the terrorists tried to shoot at my window and tried to open the door, but they gave up pretty quickly because I live in a neighborhood that there is only one person in each apartment, and they were looking for a lot of people, a lot of families. So they gave up on my neighborhood pretty quickly, and it was luck. But when I came out of the safe room 15 hours later, when the IDF rescued me, I got out and I saw my kibbutz, my home, as the very different way. There was a lot of bodies on the floor, houses were burned, and I wasn't agreed to get out of the kibbutz without my sister because I know that my parents aren't there. So I told the IDF, I'm not getting out of the kibbutz without my sister because I need some family that will left to me. So they came with me to rescue my sister, and on the way we were tackled by 3 times by terrorists that tried to shoot at me, and the IDF put me on the floor and lay on me because they didn't want the shooting will get at me. And actually it's a story because the soldier who rescued me died an hour later and at the kibbutz. Now I remember it, yeah. So they were very strong soldiers, and they let us feel some peace. And the heroic action of bringing my sister was amazing.
Let's take one more question. I don't know how to choose, Lori.
Yes, we were told, we were asked by the security forces not to share it, because if you say, I was there with this person, and then everyone will hear it, you might risk the other person. I can also add, sorry, one more thing, that my mother, all the time she was there, she didn't know what with my sister. And when she was released finally, and we talked to her on the phone in minutes possible, you could hear the relief because she didn't know if my sister survived or not. And she was 50 days underground, concerning so much about her daughter.
Okay, we're going to take one more question because I know you've had your.
So I'm yeah. I came back to my kibbutz and I slept there for a few nights because it's my home and this is the place where I want to raise my children, like the kibbutz raised me. But my mom and dad doesn't have a home now because it's ruined, so it's gonna take some time to build it. But this is what we, the younger of the kibbutz, wants to do. We want to build it, to rebuild it, and we want to live in there. We are now 30 youngest people who live there. But I spoke with my mom, and my mom doesn't want to come back. So I will be with her until she lets me go, and I could come back to the kibbutz.
My mother says she wants to be back. It's her home. All the time during the years when they're bombing from Gaza into the area, they never accepted. We told them, come to our home for a few days to relax with no alarms. And they said, no, this is my home. And now she's still saying, it's my home. But in Kibbutz Nir Oz, they estimate it will take up to 2 years until people can go back and live there. And Berea, I think it's the same. Many houses are burned, bombed, and impossible. Everything needs to be rebuilt. More than half of the houses in the kibbutz need to be rebuilt. So they are working now on midterms arrangement for people to live in, and it's very, very concerning for the community, because you know what is a community is. If you spread all the community around somewhere, and then after tourists they need to come back, it's a concern. Some of the people say we won't come. Some people say we'll come. Some say I cannot even think about it because the trauma is so big for me. So I cannot even think to decide if I want to come back or not.
Thank you both so much for being here with us tonight, sharing your stories, sharing your parents with us, and your own trauma. We can't even begin to imagine, but please know that our hearts and our prayers are with you, and you're now a part of our community, and as well as Roz here and Erez, and we're just, you're our family, and we will stay connected to you now and forever after. And so thank you all so much for coming tonight. We're going to invite everybody to come to the sanctuary where we can begin our service.